Hello my friends, and welcome to this Friday's tutorial where we are going to draw with charcoal, but two kinds. It's the natural fine charcoal, but also the compressed charcoal, which is much darker. What I'm also using is my Koh-I-Noor hard mud pencil eraser. I love these. They are awesome to draw branches and grasses and all kinds of stuff. And what we see here is that we are going to draw this wolf, of course. But first, I want to explain a little bit more about what I mean with drawing with natural charcoal and compressed charcoal. Now, for a very short and quick demonstration, I will show you what I mean. Here we have the natural charcoal, and I'm going to place it in as dark as I possibly can. Then I take a brush and I fade this natural charcoal out. Now let's see the compressed charcoal. Instantly you see that this is much darker than the natural charcoal. Also this I brush out a little bit, and as you can see it sticks much faster to your drawing paper, and it's much darker of course. And with the pencil eraser you can see that the natural charcoal can be erased much better than the compressed charcoal, but still they can be erased. For more tips and for prints outs of this tutorial, you can go to my Patreon page. And the setup also is on my Patreon page, of course, where you can support me in making these awesome tutorials. And what we see is that all the lines are going together as we draw towards the top. But before you start drawing in with the charcoal, first we make sure that the subject of our choice is first put out with a fine liner, so that will stay in place. Now of course I've chosen a wolf for this nice drawing, but you can put in any object or animal that you want. Okay, my wolf is secure, and then it's time to pick up the natural charcoal. And what I do first is I draw in the line of trees, which are pine trees of course, that are way in the back. Now I was saying this is very nice for beginner artists, and now you can see why. Because you do not have to be very good at drawing just to make these scribbly lines, and you don't have to put in any detail at all. Just take notice of the composition and of the lines disappearing towards to each other as you draw in towards the top, and simply put in some scribbly line with the natural charcoal. Then you take a brush and then you push that charcoal into your drawing paper. Then you take the compressed charcoal, because now it's time to draw in some scribbly pine trees that are more in the front of us. I just try to draw as organic as possible without getting in very much detail at all. You can see the stem and the twigs of the pine tree. So I draw in 3 trees, and as you can see they are kind of diagonal, and then I rub this in with my finger to make that area extra dark. Then completely to the left, I place in one other pine tree, which is closest to us. I make this one darkest. You can instantly see that there is some kind of perspective going on, with trees disappearing to the behind. Now this is my pastel knife, and I pick up a little bit of the compressed charcoal and rub this into my drawing paper. Then I first pick up my pencil eraser and I draw in a little bit of snow and a little bit of frozen branches here on the left. It is very wise to start on the left, because then you will not rub in everything with the mouse of your hand. Now it's time for the sky. I have taken a very big eraser and I clean up the sky that is above our wolf. You can see I make some beams of light that are going towards the pine trees on the left and is also pointing towards the wolf below. When you have a lot of rubble, you can take that out simply with your hand or with the brush. Then we continue on the right side of our drawing. This is the part where the trees are closest towards us. I have chosen those kinds of pine tree that are completely bare on the bottom part, but do have a lot of bushy needles on top of them. I draw in 3 important trees. That's the one here in front, then one here in the middle, and then one completely on the right side of our drawing sheet. Also, I try to make those stems as natural as possible, and I try to draw as organic as possible, of course. And I also draw in those bare branches that are so common with these kinds of pine tree. I also place in a little bit of shadow just next to our pine trees in the front. Now the right side of the trees are a little bit darker than the left side of our trees, and I will put that in a little bit more as I continue my drawing. Now here's the pencil eraser again, and what I need to do in the back is to erase out all the light that is all the way in the back, but I also draw out a little bit of snow or frost on the branches in front of us. I also place in a little bit of light on the left side of the stems of the tree. This gives it a very rounded feel and gives them some kind of realistic effect. The field in the middle, of course, gets a lot of light, so I lighten that up a little bit, and also the light in between the trees. This tree can be a little bit more vague, so I simply erase it out a little bit, and I make sure that the sky above the wolf is as clean as possible. So I rub out all the charcoal remains on top of the wolf. I also go alongside that big stem in the front, and I draw out a little bit of light in between the little branches. The effect is just amazing. I love this effect of charcoal in combination with the pencil eraser. I put in a little bit of extra shadow here on the right, and then one branch that is pointing towards our wolf. Now the time is there, and in this stage you can start by drawing in that beautiful silhouette of the wolf. I color it in with the same compressed charcoal as I've used in all the parts that are in front of us, and I make sure to cover it in all black, and I press rather hard on this compressed charcoal stick. You work all the way down towards the part of where he is sitting in the grass. Now the tone of value on the left side should be about the same as that our wolf is. Same goes for the grass that he is sitting on, and from which he is howling towards his friends, or whatever reason it is that those wolves howl so much. And now this grass needs to be drawn in too. Now what I do is I keep my charcoal stick quite vertical to the paper, and I simply draw in diagonal lines, if you like. So I want to put in all kinds of lines of grass, and as I go to the lower part of the drawing, I press a little bit softer so that gets a little bit more light. Then I take my brush again, a small brush, and I glue this grass in all together. It's all in the shadow, so I simply just take up this charcoal with the brush. Then I take my eraser pencil again, and I simply draw out some white grasses in between all the dark grasses to make it extra organic. And the effect is amazing. It is so simple to do. Then all I need to do is to get a little bit more detail into the trees that are in front of us. Now these little branches point towards the wolf, which is howling, and I draw out those bare branches a little bit further, and I also place in extra dark shadow on the right side of the trees. I also put in a little bit extra darkness just behind the wolf, just to get that extra feel of dramatic and of light that is just peeping through those pine trees on the left. And here on the right I go in even darker on the stems to make them stand out even more. Now this is such a lovely effect and so good a practice for all of you that are not really advanced yet, but want to learn about value, perspective, and drawing in this nice silhouette. I hope you enjoyed this video and you will give it a big thumbs up, share it with all your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out my Patreon page for the printouts and extra tips. And I will see you again next Friday.